You ever ask yourself, how is it that we have video games and graphic design made with computers, it's kind of weird, right, guys? Okay, maybe you didn't ask yourself that. I don't know. I don't know you, but I was asking myself that because I'm a fool and I want to be a little bit less of a fool. And I'm interested in making games and art and stuff, so I was like, so how do you like make a thing on the computer and it actually shows it to you, right? What has to happen inside the computer? What calculations and information has to go through the computer that your screen ends up showing you some image that actually looks like something? Well, that is of the concern of the field of graphics programming. And the from my foolish novice understanding of this subject, I'm going to very quickly explain what the deal is. So, let's take the example of a three-dimensional world. Let's say you want to create some sort of a beautiful landscape with mountains and valleys and rivers and grass and flowers and all that beautiful stuff, right? So there's this guy called the graphics program, if you will, right? So some developer somewhere or a bunch of them write these programs whose job is to take information about a world, right? So what is that information? It's, hey, there's a cube here at this position. There's a sun or other form of light source here in this position. And based on that information, and in this case, three-dimensional information with coordinates and whatnot, can you paint me a picture that I can put on a flat screen? So, as a metaphor, it's kind of like an artist going to the Swiss Alps. That's a nice place, right? And you stand on top of the fucking mountain, and as the artist, you look out into the beautiful three-dimensional world that you live in, and from your perspective, you look at what you see, and you take your paint and you render that in some sort of a canvas, right? You look at the beautiful three-dimensional world in front of you, you interpret it, and you paint something in 2D that looks like it, right? And everyone has their own style, so you might look into it and try to do it as realistically as possible, or you might try and Van Gogh that shit, right? Come on. If you want to Van Gogh that shit, you still want to look into the landscape, but you want to add an interesting stylized interpretation to it, right? You want to twist it, change it around, etc. Now, when the computer does this, it has to follow a very exact set of instructions that you provided. It's not like you, like a human being that is a lot more mysterious and has all these life experiences and lessons and dynamic decision making that kind of can create something very interesting, right? It's you tell the computer exactly how you want it to interpret the world and render it. And that's kind of what graphics programming is. The way our screens work is they're just a bunch of pixels. When you say 1080p, like the classic HD resolution, you're talking about 1080, so 1080 pixels up and 1920 pixels wide, right? So, and then you multiply that by each other and you get however many millions or whatever pixels, and that's what your screen is made out of, that many individual millions or maybe billions, I don't know, pixels. So, how you might write a program to be your little, robotic painter is you say, here's some information, right? Here is you as the camera are in this position, this coordinate, 0, 0, 0, right? X, Y, Z coordinates. And you might say there's a ball in this coordinate, there's a this in this coordinate, here are the colors, etc. can you go over every single pixel and basically try and calculate if light was coming from a source and bouncing off that object, what color would that specific pixel be based on what it's seeing? I'm sorry, guys. I tried my best. I know I overcomplicated a bit, but it's kind of interesting. So if you're into computer animations, video games, and you want to know a little bit about how the technical side of how that comes to appear in your screen, maybe check out graphics programming. Not that you need to if you want to be involved in that stuff. That's it, that a lot of that work is actually done for you by people that are much smarter than you. But if you want to get into the weeds out of curiosity or make that your job, I recommend checking it out. Don't listen to me. Find out for yourself.